Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. Keep in mind that when people are Satanists, they look at things in terms of their group coming into a satanic spirit. So therefore, when they think about Christians, okay, they think about that. They think about it in terms of fooling Christians into taking on a satanic spirit, right? Luciferian and fairy. So you have the fairy side of it, and you have the more grimy and more brute force side of it, and they're both satanic spirits, right? There's no one who's in a church these days in public who isn't in a satanic spirit in one shape or another. That's part of the tactics that they use. So you see that God Satanists also know that God is love in the Bible, right? God's a warrior, God is love, God is holy and true, and God is a God of justice, especially romantic justice. So they like to dangle females in front of people and reject them based on them not finding their life in the world, right? It's the main tactic they use. So like I was saying, their main tactic is they dangle females in front of people, right? And they try to get people to feel bad because they're not conformist enough, they're not getting enough money, or they weren't mentored by somebody, things of this nature. And it's a complete disgrace. So the Satanists who are more obviously satanic are a distraction. Okay, Michael Aquino, Shrek, Anton LaVey, Aleister Crowley, everyone knows not to fall into that trap or they're a complete idiot. But they don't realize that it's dumber to fall into the main trap they set, which is the social norm trap, which is the trap of getting people to come into the craft, right? Freemasonry and all the different crafts they control. They try to control everything, even martial arts. You know, you name it, right? Computer science, engineering, dance, movies, what have you. And so I can't stress enough that the picture on the screen shows them kind of mocking and bragging that they're convincing attractive females to date them using their satanic scale one way or another. Okay, and so they often have the genes of the governing class. So they're mocking on behalf of their governing class family lines. I urge you not to have kids with anyone, especially not anyone in the governing class or anyone who resembles them. And so yeah, they're dangling these people in front of people. Now keep in mind, they're also responsible for mass murder, right? Starving 9 million people to death every year, including 3 million children. That's over 10,000 children every day. Okay, there's all this child trafficking, all this drug use and drug overdoses, what have you. So that's a huge tactic that they use. They insist on raping and killing everyone and causing all these kids to be sexually molested, while they convince chicks who they describe as damsel, right? Damn to hell, right? Damsel in distress. And the word damn is the word mad, spelled backwards. Okay, because they know it makes the righteous mad because they're in God's spirit, right? And so the wrath of God is poured on them. And that's part of their religion, right? To light their souls on fire, okay, in order to kind of become a demon, a minion of hell more. And those who aren't people who embrace evil, you know, are tortured by that fire. So the light of Lucifer is a light of torture, right? It's even called torch, right? Torch and torture, okay? That's a huge part of what's going on. So we look at transparency, right? Train, right? Train, spare, right? And see. So transparency is a play on words for train, spar, and see. And inspire alpha, right? Remember the vowels are interchangeable. Vowel L, alphabet, right? And aspire, alpha spar. Okay, so they're aspiring to be seen as superior to the one who's the top martial artist ever possible, specifically at sparring, right? Par and spar. And there's no shortage of evidence that that's the case, right? Spirit, right? The spirit. The Lord is the warrior, the Lord is his name, Exodus 15:3. Isaiah 42:13, right? The Lord marches out as a champion, as a warrior. He raises the battle cry.